Hey everyone, it's Parfait here and it's time for Rainbow News. The latest news from the LGBTQ+ community. Congratulations to two fierce New Hampshire queens, Monique Too Soon and Claire Devine. These two gorgeous Storytime volunteers have successfully sued this guy. New Hampshire State Representative David Love, Republican. While introducing the bill, which called for librarians to conduct background checks on employees and volunteers, this representative spoke of a drag queen storytime event hosted by these two scrumptious queens. And this guy, I'm just too sweet to repeat the dreadful things he said, but he disparaged our lovely storytime volunteers. Big mistake, Mr. Love. Don't mess with fierce queens like them or myself. They took his tushy to court. And you know what? It took 2 years, but our sassy queens, they finally received an apology from Mr. Love and a retraction of his previous statements. Not to mention $200,000 to share between the two of them. $100,000 each to have to put up with all those nasty, trashy lies that Mr. Love spread about them. Way to go, Monique and Claire. You are standing up not only for your rights, but you're standing up for the whole drag community as a whole, and we salute you for that. And that $200,000 is going to go a long way in buying a lot of picture books, so kids can hear stories from drag queens just like Monique and Claire. Anyway, that is our Rainbow News for today. Toodles. Hey everyone, Parfait here, and it's time for Rainbow News. Good news for the LGBTQ+ community. And today we're going to head into the world of politics to meet Sarah McBride. Sarah McBride is running to be the first transgender person elected to the United States Congress. And we are so excited. She already has a very impressive resume. She worked for Delaware Governor Jack Markell and also worked for the late Attorney General Beau Biden. She served as a White House intern during the Obama administration and as a spokesperson for the Human Rights Campaign, the nation's largest LGBTQ+ equal rights organization. And Sarah is currently serving as a Delaware state senator. In her first term as state senator, Sarah passed the Healthy Delaware Family Act, which provides paid medical and family leave. She's also an author, and in her 2018 memoir, Tomorrow Will Be Different, Love, Loss, and the Fight for Trans Equality, there's even a foreword written by President Joe Biden. Sarah McBride has been a true champion for the constituents in her Delaware district, but now she plans to take that same energy forward to Washington by winning in November. And since winning her primary, she's almost certain to win in November. That's because she won in a largely Democratic district. Winning her primary was actually the real challenge in this race. Sarah McBride was married to her late husband, the trans LGBTQ health advocate and attorney Andrew Cray, who passed away from cancer at the age of 28. At that time, Sarah was only 24. The two had met at a Pride event held at the White House back in 2012. So, Sarah McBride obviously understands the importance of this moment and how much it means to the trans community to see themselves represented in our democracy. To quote Sarah in a recent Elle magazine interview, "I didn't have those examples growing up, so I get why it's newsworthy. But Delaware is demonstrating to the country that we can judge candidates based on ideas and not their identities. I'm not running just to make history. I'm running to be a damn good legislator." So we wish Sarah all the best as she leads her campaign to a big win in November. And then on to Washington, of course, to become a damn good legislator. And please, all of you watching that are American citizens and are legally able to vote, please make sure that you register to vote. Make sure that you vote by mail. Make sure that you go out there and you vote. It is super easy. You can even vote early in many states. The election is important and we all need to get out and vote. I know our viewers in other countries and around the globe are rooting for us here in America to do the right thing. And us Americans are going to do the right thing. So please, make sure you get out there. Make sure you get out there and vote. It's your civic duty, and our democracy is depending on all of us to show up. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Parfait with Rainbow News, bringing you all the good news from the LGBTQ+ community. Until next time, toodles. Hey everybody, Parfait here, and it's time for Rainbow News. bringing you the latest good news from the LGBTQ+ community. There's some great news coming to us from the world of entertainment today. That's right, a new compilation from the organization Red Hot is about to drop. The Red Hot organization is a non-profit organization dedicated to fighting AIDS through pop culture. The Red Hot organization was founded 35 years ago at the peak of the AIDS epidemic. The organization started with a star-studded album titled Red Hot and Blue, which was actually an album that was a huge success. In the decade since that star-studded release, the Red Hot organization has continued to release music, involving hundreds of top musicians, all to benefit LGBTQ+ causes. The Red Hot organization has given away $15 million over its lifetime, mostly raised through record sales. So we are super excited to announce the new album Transa. The compilation is a collection of music from stars and legends such as Sade, Sam Smith, Jeff Tweedy, Andre 3000, and Jane County. Plus more than 100 other artists contribute to this compilation as well, all to celebrate the trans and non-binary communities. So we clap and celebrate for that. The album, which features nearly 50 tracks, runs nearly 3.5 hours long, and it's structured into 8 chapters, a nod to the original 8 stripes of the rainbow flag, which represents the stages of understanding humanity. We have to wait until November 22nd for this project to drop, and I know I personally cannot wait. Transa is produced by a team of Dust Reed and Massima Bell. Massima Bell is a transgender model, musician, and activist. And Dust Reed is the senior creative producer and executive director at Red Hot. I know this project is personally very exciting for me because I get to hear Sade sing a new song. It's been almost 6 years since she's had a new song, and this song, Young Lion, is actually a tribute to her son Isaac, who is transgender. The album features Jane County, the 77-year-old queer punk legend. On the album is a new version of the 1974 hit Surrender Your Gender. She teams up with Kathy Wilcox of Bikini Kill and Lord Jane Grace for this new version of this classic song. You're going to love it. Now, if you can't wait till November 22nd for Transa to drop, good news. The first single is already out. It's actually a cover of Prince's I Would Die For You with Laura Adder, who has joined up with Prince's longtime collaborators, Wendy and Lisa. Yeah, that's right, that Wendy and Lisa. I mean, come on, they were actually on the original track, and to get them to come back for this means they have some serious cred. So if you want to check it out, go to the Red Hot website, and I'll include it in the description, to check out the first track of this compilation. The melding of cis and trans performers on this compilation was very important to its organizers. We wanted everyone to see themselves in this project, said producer Dust Reed. With nearly 50 tracks organized into 8 chapters, performed by over 100 talented artists, Transa is a joyful celebration of trans and non-binary people, from a respected organization that's been a part of the LGBTQ+ community for decades. I'm Parfait, and that's our Rainbow News. Good news from the LGBTQ+ community. Hey everyone, Parfait here, and it's time for Rainbow News. Good news for the LGBTQ+ community. Today we have some news from the world of religion. That's right. It was a story that made me really kind of sad, and then made me really, really mad, and then, well, something unexpected happened. Fred Zizapansky, and Fred, I hope I got your name right there, and if I didn't, I'm very sorry, also known as Mr. Fred, was actually the music director at St. Francis Catholic Church in Traverse City, Michigan for over 34 years. That's right, he worked there for over 34 years. That was until, on Friday the 13th of all days, he was fired, and that was October 13th of this year. And why was Mr. Fred fired after all those years of service? Well, my goodness, his retirement party had already been announced. Whatever could have happened to let the church let Mr. Fred go so unexpectedly? Well, an anonymous letter showed up. It was sent to the church, letting them know that Mr. Fred had married his longtime partner, Bill Thompson, in 2020. Not only was Mr. Fred fired, he was told that he was no longer welcome to receive communion at the church he had worked for. The Diocese of Gaylord, Michigan, issued a statement in which they said Mr. Fred's marriage violated the ministerial terms of his employment. Gee, I thought Christianity was all supposed to be about loving thy neighbor. Well, in this case, that wasn't really so. The letter came from a seasonal parishioner with a postmark from out of state. Whoever this seasonal parishioner is, wherever you are out there, how does ratting out poor Mr. Fred, quite literally turning in thy neighbor, make you a good person? I just can't stand people who think they know who God loves and who God doesn't love. Hey, seasonal parishioner, newsflash, you're not God. Ugh. Anywho, I digress. Back to the story, because we're about to get to the good part. Well, I imagine the Reverend Michael Linguar was quite surprised the following Sunday, on October 20th, when his outraged parishioners staged some protests. The members of the choir wore black, left their seats vacant, and refused to sing. Other supporters gathered outside the picket signs and said things like, "Love, not hate," "God includes, not excludes," and "Fired, not retired." Some of the parishioners are leaving the parish altogether in protest. That's the way that you speak truth to power. Fred's husband Bill has set up a GoFundMe campaign to help cover the cost of legal fees and insurance. I'll leave a link in the description below just in case you want to make a donation. And I just want to say to you, Mr. Fred, from us here at Meg's Magical Mansion, that we are sending our love and support your way as you move through this difficult time. Even though a cruel and terrible thing happened, the love of your fellow church members must be so heartening to you right now. The way they stood up for you is truly inspirational. So everyone remember, go check out Mr. Fred's GoFundMe campaign and give if you're able to. It's important that the LGBTQ community and our allies all stand together right now, when so many of our freedoms are under attack. This story is a wonderful example of that. I'm Parfait, and that's your Rainbow News. Good news for the LGBTQ+ community. Until next time, toodles. Hey everyone, Parfait here, and it's time for Rainbow News. Good news for the LGBTQ+ community. Today we have an update on a story we brought you back in September. Do you remember Sarah McBride? She was running to be the first transgender person in the United States Congress. In our previous story, we told you that because Delaware, which is Sarah's home state, is a majority Democratic state, that just winning the nomination pretty much meant that she was sure to win in November. And she did! Congratulations, Sarah, we're so excited for you. Now, Sarah is beginning the process of moving to Washington, D.C. and getting her office set up in the Capitol building, and going through orientation and all that kind of stuff. Sarah sat down at the beginning of December with the New Yorker magazine and let us know what's been going on. According to the article, as soon as Sarah McBride arrived in D.C., she was met with a really interesting welcome from Nancy Mace, a Republican from South Carolina. Mace introduced a resolution that would restrict access to single-sex facilities on Capitol Hill to those of the corresponding biological sex. Yeah, Nancy Mace was totally trying to create a fuss about the body. Mace even threatened physical violence against Sarah McBride if she ever met her in the women's restroom. My. I guess this is how these MAGA girls roll. However, being an actual lady, Sarah McBride isn't stooping to Mace's level, saying that she would follow the rules as outlined by Speaker Johnson, even if she disagreed with them. Sarah has been maintaining her focus on her job and not the restroom. I know that the only way I can do right by any community I'm part of is to quite simply be the best member of Congress for Delaware that I can be, to be an effective member working on all the issues that matter. Sarah also shared her thoughts on the current state of the Republican Party, saying that they are a party that is more interested in performance art and being professional provocateurs than being serious legislators and a serious governing party. Sarah has received a warm welcome from her Democratic colleagues, but has said she has also found many Republican members and their staff to be welcoming and cordial as well. As far as the bathroom issue goes, Sarah has made it very clear that she refuses to let others make her the issue. This was done to invite me to take the bait and to fight. I am maintaining my power by turning the other cheek and doing what I promised Delawareans I would do, which is to focus on the job in front of me. Yes, when that calls for me to defend my LGBTQ constituents, I will do that. When it calls on me to defend workers in my state, I will do that. When it calls on me to defend retirees in my state, I will do that. But I should not be the issue. As far as her personal safety in the new position, Sarah has said, "There have been moments throughout my life where I've had to be cognizant. I've never had a job where I've not received death threats. Literally, I've never had a job even when I was my first junior level position." So Sarah had to do a lot of soul searching before running for this office. Bravery only comes into play when you face those fears, when you pursue something despite the fears. I really do believe that we are at an inflection point where we need a politics of grace in this country if we are going to have any chance at not only restoring our capacity to have a national dialogue, which is fundamentally necessary in a democracy, but actually making government work better. With an attitude and willingness to see the humanity on the other side of the aisle, and a desire to focus on the job rather than herself, Sarah McBride is bringing a whole new perspective to the hallowed halls of Congress in so many ways. We'll keep you updated on Sarah's progress right here on Rainbow News. I'm Parfait, and that was good news for the LGBTQ+ community. Until next time, toodles. Hey everyone, Parfait here, and it's time for Rainbow News. Good news for the LGBTQ+ community. And today I have a heartwarming story from New York City. Knit the Rainbow is a non-profit group that works to empower and protect homeless LGBTQ+ youth by providing them with handmade knit and crocheted winter clothing accessories. According to the Knit the Rainbow website, which I'll link in the description below, there are more than 550,000 homeless LGBTQ+ youth currently living in the United States. 8,000 of these young people are located in New York City, a city of only 350 shelter beds dedicated for them. That leaves about 7,650 of them without shelter beds during the cold winter months. Knit the Rainbow was founded in 2020 by Austin Rivers. He turned to knitting during the pandemic as a way to keep busy during those months, and he soon realized that knitting scarves and hats was a bigger way that he could help the community. Austin wanted to really help the homeless LGBTQ+ young people in the United States, of which 40% of the youth homeless population is made up of. Knit the Rainbow was founded in April 2020 and has 550 active volunteer knitters. Actually make that 551 active volunteer knitters. Meg has decided to join them, and she has started knitting already for the project. You know, if I knew how to knit, I would. But since I can't, I'm going to help spread the news about this wonderful organization. And what's also great is they accept financial donations. So, if you're like me, and you are definitely not a knitter or a crocheter, you can go ahead and open up that pocketbook of yours, and you can give to a really great cause. One that goes to help LGBTQ+ youth in the United States that are homeless. Knit the Rainbow has been expanding, and now they're working in local nonprofits in New York, New Jersey, Chicago, and Detroit. Knowing that another human being has taken the time and energy to knit a hat or a scarf for somebody really is special. And it goes a long way in helping to keep those LGBTQ+ youth who are on the streets warm during these long winter months. You know, it shows that somebody out there really truly cares, and that goes a very long way. So if you enjoy knitting and crocheting, then this is going to be a great cause for you to be part of. It's a great place to show your talents and to showcase your work. So please make sure that you do. And if you're like me and you don't crochet or knit, you go ahead and use your credit card, which I do very well. And you go ahead and support this wonderful organization through your donations because it is a very worthy cause. It just goes to show you how such a small thing like a warm winter beanie can be so much more than just a hat. We want to thank Austin Rivers for turning such a small idea into such a big movement. I'm Parfait, and that's Rainbow News. Good news for the LGBTQ+ community. Join me again soon. Toodles.